Thousands of people are actually more excited for Red Dead Redemption 3 than they are for GTA 6, and honestly, they might have a point. While Rockstar's been busy with Vice City, there's already a surprising amount of info out there about RDR 3, so let's break it all down. Every leak, every rumor, and everything we actually know so far about Rockstar's next big game. Rockstar hasn't said a single word about Red Dead Redemption 3, not a logo, not a teaser, not even one of their cryptic tweets. That leaves us with two possibilities. Either the project doesn't exist yet, or it's being kept incredibly well hidden. And in this case, I'm leaning toward the latter. Let's connect the dots. Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two, has made it crystal clear that both GTA and Red Dead are permanent franchises. In CEO Strauss Zelnick's own words, these series are here to stay for as long as there's interest among fans, and there is. Red Dead Redemption 2 has sold over 74 million copies to date, and it's still pulling in new players and breaking records years after release. Games with fan bases this massive don't just vanish quietly, and unlike other studios pumping out yearly sequels, Rockstar takes its sweet time perfecting their next open-world masterpiece. Chances are, RDR 3 is already the next one cooking in the background. To understand Rockstar's approach today, we have to look back at how the company has evolved over the past 2 decades. During the PlayStation 2 era, Rockstar released games at a relentless pace. Manhunt, Midnight Club, Bully, multiple GTA entries one after another. It was a period of experimentation, expansion, and frequent releases. But everything shifted with the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 generation. Development became more complex, and Rockstar's ambitions grew even larger. Suddenly, the gaps between releases stretched from a couple of years to 5, 6, sometimes even 8 years of complete silence before the next big drop. GTA 5 launched in 2013, Red Dead Redemption 2 followed 5 years later, and now GTA 6 is arriving more than a decade after the last GTA entry. Add to that the massive 2022 cyber attack, which leaked early GTA 6 footage and internal documents, and Rockstar has only become more guarded. It's safe to assume they now have tighter security, stricter internal policies, and heavily compartmentalized development pipelines in place, which is why we haven't heard anything about the next RDR game. A common belief among fans is that Rockstar is far too busy with Grand Theft Auto 6 to be working on anything else. And to be fair, that assumption makes sense. By all accounts, GTA 6 is shaping up to be the most ambitious project in gaming history, packed with new technologies, advanced AI systems, and even patented innovations designed specifically for the game, unlike anything we've seen before. It's a massive undertaking, one that seems like it would demand the company's undivided attention, but that perception doesn't tell the full story, because Rockstar isn't just one studio tucked away in a single building. It's a global network of more than 10 development teams spread across North America, Europe, and beyond, with reportedly around 6,000 people contributing to different aspects of their projects. That kind of scale gives Rockstar the ability to manage multiple productions at different stages of development simultaneously, and there's precedent for this. Early work on Red Dead Redemption 2 began as far back as 2010, only months after the first game launched. By the time GTA 5 was entering its final development stages, RDR 2 was already deep into pre-production, with over 2,000 employees dedicated to it. For comparison, GTA 5 itself had about 1,000 employees working on it during its core development years, from 2008 to 2013. That alone shows how much Rockstar's resources and capacity have grown over time. Today, the company is more than capable of pushing forward multiple large-scale projects at once, even if only one is visible to the public. In an interview with CNBC back in August, Strauss Zelnick confirmed that the team was indeed working on multiple projects besides GTA 6.
How much of the Rockstar team is working on this?
Well, Rockstar does have a lot of other things going on, but this is, of course, the primary focus.
And no, that doesn't prove Red Dead Redemption 3 is in active development, but it does prove one thing. If Rockstar wants to, they absolutely have the manpower, resources, and experience to handle multiple projects of this sheer scale simultaneously. And yet, unlike GTA 6, we've barely heard a whisper about RDR 3, not even a single screenshot leak. One of the very few pieces of information that managed to get out and fueled serious speculation around Red Dead Redemption 3 came from a single line buried in an online portfolio. A former Rockstar employee, Tobias Cleanthouse, had a publicly accessible resume that listed work experience on a project labeled RDR 3. For fans desperately watching Rockstar's every move, this was it, the smoking gun. To many, it felt like confirmation that the next Red Dead game was already in development behind closed doors. But as exciting exciting as it sounded, the truth is more complicated. What a lot of people overlooked is that RDR3 might not have referred to a new game at all, because technically Red Dead 2 is already the third entry in the franchise, following Red Dead Revolver and the original Redemption game. So internally, Rockstar could have simply called Red Dead Redemption 2 RDR3 as a way to track the sequence, a naming convention, and not as a nod to a future sequel. Adding to the confusion, the reference to RDR3 was quietly removed shortly after it was discovered by the fans. The project name was replaced with a more general timeline on his resume, 2016 to 2018, which aligns perfectly with the development window of Red Dead Redemption 2. So it could have been a simple typo, or an internal placeholder, or something more. The answer remains unclear. Even without a shred of hard evidence, fans haven't stopped cooking up wild theories about what Red Dead Redemption 3 might look like. And if history is any indication, the next game won't just retread old ground. In fact, Roger Clark, the actor behind Arthur Morgan, has even hinted at that possibility. In a December 2023 tweet that fans still circle back to every now and then, Clark said we should probably expect another Red Dead game in the future. But he also admitted it's unlikely Arthur would return, since, in his words, his story has been told. That leaves the door wide open. If Rockstar sticks to tradition, we can expect a shift in perspective, a new time period, and a fresh central figure. That's been their approach since the start. The original Red Dead Redemption placed us in the early 20th century, at the dying edge of the Wild West, following John Marston's desperate attempt to escape his outlaw past. Red Dead Redemption 2 took a bold step backwards in time, showing us a less civilized frontier through the eyes of Arthur Morgan. Each game didn't just expand the lore, it redefined the moral center of this tragic saga. And if Rockstar continues that pattern, the third game almost certainly means a new character taking the helm. But who could that be? One obvious possibility is Dutch himself. As one of Rockstar's most layered characters ever made, an idealist turned outlaw kingpin, Dutch has influenced greatly over both Redemption games. His vision of freedom, his charisma, and his inevitable descent into madness shaped the gang and the story we know. A prequel exploring his early years, the formation of the Van der Linde gang, and the ideals that slowly curdled into delusion would be a fascinating way to pull players deeper into the mythos. But there's a fundamental problem here. The series is called Red Dead Redemption for a reason, and Dutch, as compelling and layered as he is, never truly seeks redemption. His story is about ambition, disillusionment, and decline, not forgiveness. That makes him an unlikely choice to carry the next installment, unless Rockstar ditches the redemption thing altogether and just goes with Red Dead. This leaves us looking in the opposite direction, a way forward in time, and here, one character feels almost destined to take the spotlight: John's son, Jack Marston, because Jack's journey is arguably the most tragic of all. He's raised in the shadow of the Van der Linde gang. He witnessed betrayal, bloodshed, and the violent deaths of his parents. At the end of the first game, he avenges his father by hunting down Edgar Ross, but that moment never feels satisfying. If anything, Jack's hollow expression, the way he quietly holsters his weapon, suggests that he accepts the same violent legacy his father tried so desperately to escape. In many ways, Jack represents the perfect continuation of the saga. He's seen the corrupt government take everything away in the name of civilization. He's fought with his own beliefs after avenging his father. And deep down, he's the boy who once wished for a peaceful life where John would finally put down his guns, only to become what he feared most. That tension alone could drive an entire story. And narratively, this also feels like the safest path forward without Dan Houser, the creative mind behind so much of Rockstar's storytelling legacy. Instead of risking everything on a brand new character, Rockstar could lean on Jack, who's already been set up as the heir to the narrative. RDR2 ended with Arthur passing the torch to John. John, in turn, handed it to Jack in a way. A third game starring him wouldn't just continue the story, it would complete the trilogy, bringing the saga full circle. But if Rockstar decides to take a more standalone approach with the RDR series going forward, we could possibly see Sadie Adler taking the center stage in RDR3. Her arc in RDR2 already feels like the perfect foundation for a standalone game. She's got tragedy, vengeance, grit, and the unique perspective of a woman navigating the brutal outlaw world. She expressed her interest to explore South America at the end of the game, so a story that follows her journey to South America as a bounty hunter could expand the frontier beyond the familiar American setting, giving players a brand new landscape while still tying back to the Van der Linde gang's legacy. But as much as fans love Sadie, personally, I don't think her story carries the same weight or substance that Rockstar usually builds its epics on. Arthur Morgan and John Marston were deeply layered characters, tied into these sprawling thrilling stories about loyalty, morality, and the downfall of the Wild West. Sadie's tale, while compelling, feels more like a side arc, something to fit inside a DLC than the backbone of an entire game. That said, if Rockstar wanted to shake things up with their first female lead, Sadie would be the obvious choice, and it would certainly push the franchise in a bold new direction. At the end of the day, though, this is all speculation from our side. The possibilities are endless, and we can't rule out Rockstar introducing an entirely new character either. That all being said, the more important question is when can we expect RDR 3, if ever? And with Rockstar, you never know. There has never been a set pattern. The development time for Rockstar Games has significantly increased to decade for a game of this scale. Interestingly, Alec Brondolo, an analyst at Wells Fargo, predicted RDR 3 could arrive around 2028, calling it the peak free cash flow period in Take-Two's current development cycle. Wells Fargo even gave Take-Two an overweight rating with a $265 price target, signaling high confidence in the company's future performance. What it implies, though, is that Take-Two could capitalize on that momentum with a new Red Dead launch. But honestly, Rockstar doesn't play by Wall Street's rules. Unlike most studios, their releases aren't just video game launches, they're global events, like we've already seen with GTA 6's first trailer. The entire industry stops, and the spotlight is theirs, no matter what else is on the calendar. They can release a game whenever they choose, and fans will line up to buy it, which is why 2028 feels way too soon. There was a 5-year gap between GTA 5 and RDR 2. If GTA 6 really does land in 2026, then the earliest we could see the next Red Dead would be 2031. And that's being optimistic. If GTA 6 slips even further with a delay, RDR 3 gets pushed back with it. So realistically, the most we can hope for by the end of this decade isn't a release, but maybe a confirmation, a teaser, or even a leak. And until then, all we can do is just wait. We may not know who the main character will be or when exactly the game will release, but one thing feels certain is that Red Dead Redemption 3 is going to be the most immersive Rockstar game ever. The company has a history of pushing boundaries with every new release. GTA 5 raised the bar back in 2013, delivering groundbreaking technology, animation, and detail that's still praised today. Then came Red Dead Redemption 2, which built on those foundations to give us one of the most detailed and realistic open worlds ever made. And now, with GTA 6 already looking like a generational leap forward in terms of graphics, details, and animations, and realistic character interactions, it's safe to assume that RDR 3 will aim even higher. That's also why we probably won't see it anytime soon. The current generation of consoles will already be stretched to their limits with GTA 6. If Rockstar follows tradition, RDR 3 is likely being built with the next generation of hardware in mind, giving the developers the freedom to create something truly groundbreaking without compromise. Reports suggest the new consoles could arrive around 2027 or later, which lines up with the long wait we've come to expect from Rockstar's major projects. It's not just about better graphics either. If RDR 3 takes a jump forward in time, we could explore totally different technology. We could see things like the early days of radio communication and the rise of mass media in that time. I mean, we could only imagine how the game could explore the impact of radio, news, and communication for the first time, changing how people connected with the world. Then there's transportation. We saw it happening in the first Red Dead Redemption, but a future entry could dig deeper into the rise of automobiles and even the earliest attempts at aviation. Side quests could have characters talking about horseless carriages, some mocking them, others convinced they're the future. That would definitely make for some super interesting conversations. Now, I know most people don't want to see cars, planes, or fancy tech creeping into the story. What they really want is to jump even deeper into the raw, untamed West, a setting that feels dangerous, unpredictable, and more lawless than what we got in RDR 2. But what do you guys think? Do you want Rockstar to push the timeline forward into new technologies and a changing world, or would you rather stay rooted in this raw and chaos of the wild frontier? Hopefully, we will get some more information about RDR 3 in the coming months, or maybe even a few unintentional leaks to get us going. For now, though, that's all we have. So thanks for watching till the end. Have a good day, and see you in the next one.